Hello friends, welcome back to IWJ or Innocent J. First of all, happy Easter to you and your loved ones. So some of my friends were asking me why can't I do a portfolio balance update, basically like an account balance update on every month. So I have been thinking about this and some of the good stock channels which I follow, they do this. So I am also planning to do a portfolio balance update at the end of every month as a way to be transparent to you guys. So I am using 5 different investment platforms or brokers. They are E-Trade, Robinhood, Charles Schwab, Webull, and Stash. Out of which Robinhood is my most aggressive account, meaning I do a lot of risky plays as well as options in this account. So I am planning to make this Robinhood account as my public account, and I will be doing a portfolio balance update at end of every month for this account. So let's take a look at what happened to this Robinhood account in this last month. So this is my Robinhood account portfolio for the last week. So if you see, when I started on 27th of March, I was at 150,000 US dollars. And if you see at some point, which is at on 30th of March, I was at 41,000 US dollars. So basically, I was at a loss of $8,000. And with the ups and downs and last few days were good for the tech stocks. And hence it came up to 156,000. So I am at a net gain of around 7,000 US dollars in the last week. But things change when I take a chart of the 1 month. So if you see, the last month started for me at 153,000 US dollars and it ended at 156,000 US dollars. But I wanted to show you something else. So let me take you to this day, March 16th. I had close to 210,000 US dollars. And if you see on March 25th, at some point in March 25th, I was at 136,000 US dollars. So the gap between my highest point and lowest point is close to 70,000 US dollars, which is pretty big. So during these down days, I was actually feeling a lot of pain, but I kind of understand that the stock market moves up and down a lot, and especially with valuations all-time high, I was expecting it to come down, but not this much. And at some point, I was really feeling the pain. So again, I would like to take you to a more holistic picture. When you go to the 3 month chart, you will see something else. So in 1 month chart, if you see, my gain was 2.35%. But if I take last 3 months, I was actually lucky enough to make around 55% in profits, and some of my stock picks did really well. Now I would like to take you to the entire timeline of my Robinhood account. So this is actually to show you if you can look above short-term losses and gains and look at stock market on a long-term perspective, you can always make stable profits. So here you see it's a completely different chart, and I have made a good amount of profits. Anyone who has used Robinhood will know that if you keep the cursor to the start of the timeline, it will show you the initial amount you have put into Robinhood. So if you see, my account is at minus 123k if I take it to the start of my account. So this is because I have taken out this much balance from my account in the last 5 years. So I started the Robinhood account on March 30 of 2018, and I have put in a total amount of 30 to 35k in this account. So if you see in this first 2 years, so from 2018 March to January 2020, if you do the math correctly, I started at minus 123k and now it's at minus 114k, which means I had made a gain of around 8 to 9k, and on February 14th I have made a gain of around 11k. So it took me almost 2 years to make 11k gains for a 30 to 35k starting balance. So then you know what happened after that. From February 2020 to till today, the stock market has been really kind to me and also to everyone who had some level of understanding on the stock market before the pandemic crash has hit the stock market. So this is the importance of the knowledge on the stock market. So if anything happens to the stock market in the foreseeable future, if you have the right strategy and if you have the right understanding of the stock market, you can also make good profits out of stock market. So the main reason I wanted to take you through this portfolio is to make sure that you understand, if I can do it, then you can also do it. Also, some of my friends have been asking me things like, is the stock market for real? Can we make sustainable profits out of stock market? Can it be an income stream, etc., etc.? So this video is actually dedicated to all those folks who has asked me those kind of questions. So now you can understand that yes, stock market is for real. Now, in the next few minutes, I am going to take you through some of the do's and don'ts which I have learned in the last 10 years of my investment career. If you feel this is going to be a boring subject or like an unwanted lecture, please feel free to drop off. So the first point here is learn early, invest with confidence, also pass on the knowledge. So if you can learn the dynamics of stock market in an early stage of your life, that is going to be the best asset you can add to your life. But say if you are at an age of like 30 plus or so, then you may ask me like, how can I do it early? So I will tell you, you can actually do it in another way. You can actually pass on the knowledge to your kids. So educating your kids at an early stage in their life might turn out to do wonders for them. So who knows, like they might get a career out of investment. The reason why I am telling you this is because I was actually inspired by my father during my childhood to learn more about stock market. The level of curiosity he instigated in me actually helped me to find out more about stock market. Okay, moving on to the second point, understand the fundamentals and underlying business of the company. So it is very important to understand what is the underlying business of a company, how profitable it is, how well run it is, what is the history, how big the company is, how many employees do they have, is it an international company, what is the revenue growth, what is the earnings growth. It's good to know all these things, and then once you start to understand this for a couple of companies, you will know how to do the rest. The third point is you must have a stock portfolio watch list in any platform. So regardless of you being an experienced investor or a very newbie in the stock market space, you should always have a portfolio or like a watch list of or a list of stocks which you are interested in. I would say Yahoo Finance or Google Finance will be a very good start. It's a free account and you can actually start to create an account today itself. So fourth point is cash is king. So this is a very famous quote between experienced investors. So especially on red days, if you have enough cash, you can actually buy your favorite stocks if it comes down. Secondly, say on a red day when some of the stocks have gone down 5%, and if you have cash in hand, that means your cash is actually 5% up in comparison to those stocks which have come down 5%. The fifth point is my favorite point. Start accounts with different brokerages or platforms. So this is the one major thing that has helped me a lot without a doubt. So I do have like 5 accounts. So each of these accounts have a different purpose. So some of these accounts are for aggressive investments. Some of them are for dividend investments. Some of them are just for like stable companies. Even you can divide it based on like sector wise. If you have 3 accounts and one of the accounts you wanted it to be heavily invested on industrials, and one for technology and one for something else. So that is a very good way to invest. So point number 6 is invest mainly on red days. So there is a famous saying which mentions buy when others are afraid and sell when others are confident. So this is a very good strategy to follow. So when you can feel the pain yourself, that is a day when you can buy. So basically on any red days, it's a good time to buy. Point number 7 is actually connected to point number 6. So always buy in steps and never put all your money to a stock which you love. So say you figured out a favorite stock of yours and you are very much bullish on the stock and you wanted to buy the stock. Say you have $1,000 in hand and you wanted to buy the stock. So even if you're planning to buy $1,000 of the particular stock, don't buy it all on that day. Buy probably like 20% of the money, which is $200 of stock that day, and wait for another probably 2 weeks or 3 weeks and see if it comes down. If it comes down, average it out. Otherwise, you can actually space out your buying pattern. So this is a very good trade to learn and apply. Point number 8 is also connected to the other points. So it's always good to make a habit to average out your best stocks. So probably when your stock is at this high, buy a bit, then it comes down, average it out, comes down, average it out. So you will have a base price somewhere like in the middle. So that is a very good strategy if you are really bullish on some stocks. Point number 9 is make a priority list of stocks. So say you have 5 stocks A, B, C, D, E, and you think C is going to go up maximum and E is like a stable stock, something like that. So you can actually prioritize the stocks basically meaning C is your highest conviction stock, which you think it is going to go high. So you can categorize it as your top portfolio, and the other ones as a bottom portfolio. The importance of this is like when market tanks and you want to buy the stock portfolio, you just go to that stock and check how that is doing and buy accordingly. So point number 10 is a very important point. Diversification is a must. So on a heavily red day, even if 90% of your stocks are going down, if 10% of your stocks are going up, or at least few stocks are going up, that means you have a diversified portfolio. For example, in the recent tech sell-offs, if you had industrial stocks or financial stocks, you could see at least some portion of your portfolio in the green. So that is very important. Always diversify your portfolio. Point number 11 is ETFs. So ETFs is the best finds I have got in the last year. So this is a very good way to play if you are very bullish on a particular sector and you do not want to chase individual stocks in the sector. Instead, you are expecting that overall sector to be in a bullish trend. For example, electric vehicles, solar energy, cannabis, sports betting, all those things are having a bullish trend. So instead of going and chasing the individual stocks, you can actually put your money into the ETF, and ETF will actually split your money into different stocks in that category. Point number 12 is cut your losses and try to execute stop loss strategy. So this is something which experts do. So people like us, what happens when a stock falls down? We kind of chase it to the bottom. And some people who are actually stock market experts, they start to cut down their losses. So that is also a very important learning you need to make. So, and also try to keep a stop loss strategy. There are a lot of material on what is stop loss and how to implement that in the internet. So if you do not know about stop loss, please go ahead and check about that. Point number 13 is understand your risk. So risk might be a very enticing word for a young investor, but for a person who is closing or who is close to his retirement, for him it might be a very stressful word. So understand your risk portfolio and how much risk you can take, and depending on that, build your portfolio. Point number 14 is plan your taxes. So this is something very important to take note of. All of your short-term gains are going to be taxed at around 30% in United States. So please take a note of that because when you file the taxes, don't get into surprises. Now let's go to the don't section. So first and very most important don't for me is do not blindly trust any gurus or even social media news or hype, but you can actually listen to their analysis and do your own research. Find it out if you can invest with conviction for your stock pick. So stock market gurus, there are a lot of gurus in the world now. Even do not even trust me. So I can also tell you a lot of things, but that is my perspective. And you should not actually just follow that blindly. You should do your own research, understand why I am telling that, if I am telling it correctly. And that level of analysis is always important for any investor. Point number 2 is avoid emotional investing. So I can tell you that, but it's very difficult to implement this strategy. Some days when the market is too much red, it is very difficult to control your emotions. So sometimes what I do is like I just close off all my trading stuff and then I just move to something else and I try to distract myself. So that sometimes that works out. So point number 3 is avoid FOMO. So FOMO is fear of missing out. So this is one major issue with a lot of investors. So even including me, even after some decent years of investing, I am still affected by FOMO. So when some of the stocks shoots up, you think okay, you can also catch the train, but by the time it shoots up, you are already late to the party, and most probably you will end up entering into the stock at a very high price, and you start to lose confidence in that, and you finally sell it for a loss. Even if you miss a stock or the move in a stock, always understand that there are around 3,600 or like some few thousands of stocks in the stock market, and there is always another chance for you, another stock for you on another day. So it's okay to miss out on a stock which is moving high. Point number 4 is do not try to time the market. You cannot predict the bottom or the peak of the market. Even the best of best could not, then how can we do? So point number 5 is if you're chasing penny stocks or high speculative stocks or SPACs or new IPOs, basically very risky stocks, do not put money you are not willing to lose. Point number 6 is do not think in lines of quick money. So whatever I have seen and whatever I have experienced, whenever I chased quick money or easy money, like all speculative plays, I have lost money. And whenever my strategy was thinking long term, I have gained a good amount of profits. Point number 7 is a common mistake which I used to do. So I used to filter out stocks which are at the 52-week low or all-time lows, and I think like, okay, how much more can it go down? And it is going to shoot up. But the truth is actually for those stocks, there might be a chance of lot more to go down. So we need to understand what is the reasoning behind a 52-week low or an all-time low for a particular stock. So this is very important to note. Also, one other point I just remembered is like, if you want to just find out stocks which are doing good, just go to Yahoo Finance, pull out a stock and see the historical performance for 5 years or 10 years. So if you see a graph which is going like going up, even if with slight short-term changes, if it's going up for past 5 to 10 years, that's a very easy way to find a stock which is consistent, which was consistent for the history and which is doing still good. So you can pick any of the big stocks like FANG stocks, Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, like any of those stocks, and you can take a period of like 5 to 10 years and see how the stock has grown into this current value. So that is another way to just start to understand a stock. Coming to conclusion, I wanted to say another thing. US stock market is considered to be one of the best stock markets in the world. And if you see that in the last 25 years, it has gone up and down in the short terms, but always in the long run, it goes in one direction, and that is up. Let me show you this comparison graph of the three major indexes, the Nasdaq, S&P 500 and Dow Jones. The Nasdaq being the orange line, the Dow Jones being the green line, and the S&P 500 being the blue line. So I am going to take you to a max chart. So let's take the last 25 years of US stock market history and just analyze what happened. 1998, the value of S&P was 961, and let's see where it is at now. So now it is at close to 4,000. So it has increased fourfold in the last 25 years. 1998, the Nasdaq was at 1581. The Nasdaq is actually the tech index. So it is at 1581, and you see what is the price now. It is at 13,870. So it's close to like 8 to 9 times it has multiplied. This is the time of the dot-com bubble. So if you have heard about dot-com bubble, this was a big stock market crash, and again in 2008, the big financial crisis. And after all these hurdles, and even after the pandemic we see in 2020, the stock market always goes in the upward direction, but you will see short-term smashing down, crashes, corrections, pullbacks, but overall trend of the market will be upwards, and that is the advantage we as investors have in the US stock market. So that is all for today. If you find any value in today's video, please like, please share, and please subscribe. Also, if you have a minute, please comment on any improvements in any of my videos. Thank you.